Hey guys, so in this video, I'm gonna talk about 6 different factors that I'm seeing on IREN for more probability of bearish price action. So let's go over them, right? So I found very important technical pattern that would add weight for the bearish thesis. So I'm gonna go over the first one. So here I have an explanation on how a rally-based rally looks like and how a drop-based drop looks like. So this is something I found, actually I noticed today. So here basically you guys can see we had a big rally, then we created the base, and then we had another big rally. So I'm gonna point out the differences. When we were here on this consolidation, creating this base, basically if you guys see here the daily RSI, we were overbought, and we were overbought, remain overbought, and kept going to the upside. But what am I seeing right now? So basically we recently had a big massive drop, right? Had a big massive drop, and we're potentially most likely creating another base. But what is the key difference between the first base and this base? This base, you guys can see we're on oversold conditions, so it's totally the contrary to the first rally based rally. So this is giving actually even more probability that is a drop based drop, right? So now that we have this first factor out of our way, I'm gonna explain something I explained in my past videos, but in case you guys didn't watch it, I'm gonna go over every single bearish factor that I'm seeing, so it's gonna give more probability to my thesis. So as you guys know, right, I have here a hammer stick candle and how it should look like. So here basically back here in December, we had a bullish hammer close on the weekly chart, and then we had bullish price action. The same thing happened here. We had the hammer, we had bullish price action. But what is the difference between the first hammer, the second hammer, and the third potential hammer? So see, the hammer, a normal hammer, bullish hammer, doesn't have a wick. This hammer has a big wick left. And another key difference is that the first two hammers were above the 50 SMA, but the second hammer we're seeing we're below the 50 SMA. So that's another key point to clarify, because I see a lot of people on X saying, oh, we have a bullish hammer, this must be bullish for IREN. But no, there's context to it. That's the difference between a novice and a professional investor like myself. So you guys can also see that this hammer had overbought RSI. This hammer actually tested the 50, but this hammer is below the 50 RSI. So that's an additional factor as to why this hammer is different. So now that we went over the first and the second actually strong indicators, I'm gonna touch the third one. So a third one, see, we have been rejecting from the mid-range of the channel over here many times. We kept rejecting and we're keeping rejecting, so that's another factor. So we also have a lot of supply overhead. See, we have the point of control, which we rejected, which is this red line, and above that we have massive supply. So all of this is adding more pressure to price, right? Now let's go to the fifth. I'm anticipating a death cross, right? That means when the 50 SMA goes below the 200 SMA. So let's go back in history. So on the first base rally, right, it was fueled basically because here we had a bullish cross, as you guys can see, and then moved to the upside. But now, right, we almost had a death cross over here, but see, we never went below. But now I'm anticipating we're eventually gonna have soon a death cross coinciding with more bearish price action. So now that we have covered the fifth, now let's go to the fifth. So this basically this channel, this has been support of the channel, but we have tested. So all of this is gonna get weak. Like this demand over here is gonna get weak. We actually tested it over here recently. So next time price test this green demand zone over here, the most likely is it's not gonna hold, and there's a gap over here actually below, and that gap's gonna be filled. Once price gets there, this would be my other key support, which would coincide with the consolidation on the first rally base rally, right? So eventually I expect price to go into this range, $20, 17, $18, $19 for IREN, right? And now that we cover all of the technical factors that are giving me a much more probability to the downside, right? Because remember, we could fall easily 30, 40 to 50% from current prices, right? And I know it's really hard for a lot of people to digest. So something in terms of risk, a lot of fundamental risk that people are not actually even talking about is like iron will continue have delusions in the future. I mean, basically this company is burning cash. I mean, they have free negative cash flow for them to continue to build the AI build out, right? So I mean, that's one of the risks I see. Also, I mean, Nvidia has the right to buy 30 million more shares, but this is only once price is above $70. So another thing that I'm seeing is that there's something called the Altman C score, and this measures the risk of bankruptcy. So basically, this is right now IREN score is 1.4. So anything below 3 is considered something being on danger zone. So something else, right? So we're stacking probability not only in terms of technicals but also of potential fundamental things that moving forward could impact the company. And something and another thing, like these guys basically are going from 23K GPUs, right? And their target is to have like 140,000 GPUs. So that's a lot of fast scalability in physical build out. So they have a lot of executional risk. So if they don't finish in a certain time frame, that executional risk is gonna be translated as well in price. And as you guys might know, I'm really bearish on Bitcoin, and I did a whole exclusive video showing a lot of factors of why we have more probability of downside. So even though IREN has detached itself uh, from mining Bitcoin, it would still affect because the sentiment on the whole industry um, would be actually risk off environment, and especially if the Nasdaq or the QQQ, the NDX, basically starts tanking. If we have all of that, I mean, we certainly have a lot more risk than a lot of people on Spaces are actually telling people, right? So if you guys really enjoyed this video, please comment, share, so more people can have access to this high quality information.